Now, a ban on British servicewomen engaging in hand-to-hand combat with enemy forces is under review. The Ministry of Defence revealed at the weekend. Servicewomen are currently excluded from roles where there's a requirement to kill the enemy face-to-face. However, Bob Ainsworth, Minister of State for the Armed Forces, has said that the review will examine the attitudes of servicewomen and men and those of the commanders on the ground to assess the potential impact of mixed-gender teams on combat effectiveness. However, some opponents have pointed out that the reason for the ban is not because women are not capable, but because of the dynamics of units of 18-year-old soldiers. The girls would distract the boys, basically. So, should women be allowed to fight on the front line in the same terms as men? What do you think?
Well, I think they should have the opportunity to, if they want to. I think the problem here is that, you know, you can't really generalise. Well, you can, but there are going to be some women who are aggressive and some men who are passive. And if an aggressively minded woman can be trained sufficiently well, both psychologically and physically, to be able to stand alongside a man and kill people, and if they really want to do that, then I think they should have the opportunity.
And what about the argument that it's going to distract the sort of teenagers?
Well, I think what you'll find happens is that they train together and they get to know one another, and if any person is a distraction for any reason, irrespective of gender, I think then the company commander won't deploy that person on that mission, because there can be other reasons for a person not being appropriate for a mission other than their gender. And I think that's going to be the crucial thing, really. And if it affects the combat effectiveness, I don't think they'll get the chance to do it. And that's the conundrum here, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm probably every feminist's nightmare, what I'm going to say now. But I kind of don't agree with it in a way. I mean, I know what you're saying. If they want to do it, they should have the opportunity. Why anyone would go and want to do it, I'm sure a lot of the men join the army and actually don't want to be on the front line and have to kill someone face to face. But I do think men and women are different in so many ways, whether it be emotionally and physically, and I wish we would all just accept that, because it's just like we just want to do it all now. And I am kind of girly. I quite like the things that I know I can do well.
Is it just the frontline thing that bothers you? Because obviously there's, you know, being part of the armed forces, it's not all about just face-to-face combat with the enemy. There's a whole load of jobs that you can do behind it. But what I'm saying, Coleen, do you disagree with maybe women joining the armed forces as a whole, or just the front line?
No, it's just the front line thing, and I do think there would be an issue, because I think, you know, if you've got a man and a woman there and they are faced with danger, a man's natural instinct would be to protect the woman in most cases.
They want to protect themselves first. Actually.
No, I think their natural instinct would be to protect the woman, and I think that could be.
That woman, and that woman is just seen as a soldier. I mean, that's the question. Can you take away gender? Is it possible for a person to be just a soldier, a generic soldier?
Very young though, they're going to get, oh, you were beaten by a woman in that respect. It's all that. There's so many problems.
I think it's a strange one, because, you know, they're not allowed in a Navy submarine, women. And is that the same reason? Is it a sexual reason because they're all too close and too... I mean, they're, you know, sometimes down in the submarines for days on end. And on the front line, you know, 18-year-old boys with, I don't know, is it 18, 20-year-old girls? I don't know if they're any older. I mean, that's going to kick in. But I just think, I don't know, if you take the choice to go into the Army or the Navy or the Air Force, then I suppose you should have the choice to go on the front line. But
I think there are jobs, though, some jobs for men and some jobs for women.
Well, I think so, but our feminine instinct, I think, tells us that that is wrong.
Well, you have firefighters, don't you? You have firefighters now, not firemen and firewomen.
That's a perfect example for me, though, because say I was at the top of a burning building, and there's many people who'd like to see that. If I was at the top of a... If I was at the top of a burning building and I needed to be, you know, fireman's lift down the ladder, would I want Sam or Samantha?
I'd want the best trained. I'd want the person who had the best training.
Do you think as well part of it is that it's more shocking if you hear about a soldier killed on the front line and it's a woman? Because, you know, when almost daily you hear reports coming back, you know, from Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, apparently 7 women have been killed on duty in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that makes up just as 2% of the fatalities. You know, the media makes more of it. It affects us more. Do you think that's part of the reason why we feel uncomfortable with it?
I think instinctively, of course we do. And it's the same for me with the police force. Keely wanted to go into the police force, and I said, over my dead body. Because the thing is, you know, when you see riots and you see those women in there, I'm terrified, aren't you? It really frightens me to see girls in the police force. And you know very well, I mean, I'm sure they join up for exactly the same reason. They want to be in that front. They want to be with the men. But, you know, I just think it's terrifying. And I think you're right. Feminists might go, oh, what a ridiculous statement.
But I'd be just as scared to see my son as a policeman.
Yes,
absolutely.
I agree with that.
I think, to be honest, Sherrie, hats off to anyone who's prepared to do it, men or women. Now,